What's up, Terry?
Ooh, it's Tuesday, and we're
You know,
ready.
yeah. Are we ready, Terry?
We're always ready, Erica.
We were born ready.
We're born ready.
I heard you say that, but I don't know. With this daylight savings time, I'm not liking it. I'm not liking it. Did we? But we fell back, didn't we?
Yeah.
So what's that mean if you fall back? We lost the hour or gained the hour?
So we gained an hour.
It
We
doesn't
gained
feel like
an hour. In the spring, we jump ahead, so we miss an hour. In the fall, we turn our clocks back, so we gain an hour in our time.
I'm still confused. Okay, so we took the clock, say, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. No, we took it from 1 o'clock back to 12.
Right. Right.
So that means if it gets dark at 6, it really was getting dark at 7.
Right.
Okay, because this is messing me up because I'm like super sleepy at whenever it even thinks about getting dark outside. I'm just so sleepy. Like, is that what's making me sleepy, or was it just gonna happen anyway? I'm thinking maybe it was gonna happen anyway.
Well, you know what? The sun affects our hormones. And our hormones are not only what we think of as estrogen. It's all of the different hormones, right? And it affects the melatonin. When the sun goes down, we start creating melatonin, which makes us want to sleep. So yeah, it's affecting our whole body system. And so they've messed with the times and everything else. And so people don't know. We have a natural body clock. You know that certain organs function at certain times. We also have a sleep cycle, and this is why everybody's so hard on it. Is so your sleep cycle is like a 90-minute sleep cycle. So you know, like if you normally fall asleep at let's say 11 o'clock at night, now because we've turned the clock back, that 11 o'clock is now 10 o'clock. So that's in the middle of a sleep cycle. So really, if you have been going to bed at 11 o'clock, you either want to go to bed at 9:30 or you want to go to bed a half an hour later. So you want to go to bed at 11:30 because of that 90-minute structure. Our bodies are still operating under like a standard time. But when they change the time, when they put us on daylight savings time, it screws up our whole body clock. And this is why people have such a hard time with their sleep patterns, is it takes a while to adjust to the time frames.
Hi, Deb. Deb, if you want the code, let me know. You can come hang out with us.
Mm-hmm.
So Terry, you had a class not that long ago.
I did class on the weekend on channeling. And
that's your second class you did, right?
Pardon me? The second one, yeah. And so it was a lot. Wow, it was tense. It was so intense, I fried my internet modem.
Oh, wow.
It was like, oh boy, we were moving energy. And I mean, everybody was like, by the end, there's like, oh, they were exhausted. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, I was like, the energy's just running through me. But it was quite amazing because of just being able to connect with your higher self and those energies, and having and learning, because this is what I was teaching, learning how to discern what is truth and what's being out there that's just sort of flying around.
Wow. So you just put it to the grindstone.
Oh, you're muted.
Not me.
Yeah.
I don't know what's happening. I'm not muted.
Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? But I can't hear you.
Girl, you were talking about your class.
So I'm going to come back in because this has happened before.
Just talking about her class blew up the little CPU. Ain't that something? I'm going to share screen because my class is coming up in January. It's an 8-week self-parenting course. It's going to be on Wednesdays at 7. There will be a recording. But what I'm finding is, we got to repair some of our memories and build new memories from the start. Self-parenting, being able to go in and forgive and release some of the things that are going on with your family history. Get rid of some of your self-limiting beliefs and build these new memories for yourself. Kind of like patching or doing an override on what you already had as the programming as your child and build new programming for yourself in the future. So that's just a brief synopsis of that. And there's self-forgiveness, creating a vision board, creating your own keepsake box as if you were a child again. And it's basically you're rebooting your life and you're taking control. And when you are able to let go of these things with your own parents, you're able to be a better parent yourself, to be a better person in your own relationships, and begin to self-resource. And I like that word, self-resourcing, because easily we would like to go into the collective to get our ideas and opinions when we need to go through ourselves, through our higher self, and connect with source to get that healing and nurturing that you need, and be able to tap in at any time and provide that for yourself. Oh man, we didn't even have the doorbell ring. You didn't even ring the doorbell. You just bust people's house. You don't ring the bell.
Yeah.
Your door is open. It's close here.
I didn't know the door was wide open. You remember that old gospel song? It said, it's the two dogs fighting. And then the dog gets down to the end of the fence and the big dog just walks in and he's like, who in the hell left the gate open?
Yeah, man. It was just wide open. It actually it connected right away. I was like, man, when you sent me the message, I wasn't even prepared to go live. I was scared, didn't have my clothes on, just had my coffee.
You didn't have to do any makeup or anything.
No, I had my do-rag still on. Like,
okay, well, as long as you got the do-rag going.
Yeah, my nightcap. How you ladies doing today? This is a beautiful Tuesday.
It's good to see you, Deb.
Yeah.
Post-election. Look, I'm gonna just say this. The thing is, I was watching Magical Michelle yesterday, and she was talking about controlling your thoughts, because sometimes your first thought is not your best thought, even though that's the title. First thought, best thought, because I know we overthink things, but sometimes our first thought is a negative thought, and so we have to cancel, clear, delete. You can literally say that: cancel, clear, delete, and start over, and push yourself into a new thought. But the whole topic was first thought, best thought, talking about not overthinking things, going with the gut, getting close to the gut and shooting from the hip, just kind of going for it. Like today, we busted up in here at 11 a.m. because I had an idea at 7 a.m. And then, I drove it past a friend and they were like, yeah, let's rock. And I was like, okay, let's do it. And so I'm like, Terry,
are you up yet?
Are you awake?
Let's get it done.
Let's get it done. All right. First thought, best thought. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I think one of the things we have to be cognizant of is that there's a lot of thought forms around us. And with all those thought forms, that's why maybe first thought, best thought, but maybe it isn't the best thought, because we may be picking up on just what's out there, and it's maybe not. Maybe what we need to do instead of the thoughts in the head is go to the heart and ask the heart, what does the heart think? And so I think it's about moving from what we see out there and moving in here and then connecting. Okay, what does the heart think? Because the heart has a chance to see things from different perspectives.
You know what I think? Because maybe that is a misinterpretation, first thought, best thought. Because your first thought might not be your best thought, but what you want to say is first thought, best thought, to find the best thought. And that's why I brought up that cancel, clear, delete. This is Nick. Nick came and hung out with us at with the singles night.
Date night on date night. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
That's my date night, buddy.
Your
He said
best
he could
thought
talk
is
more
usually your
clearly.
first thought too.
Hey, Nicholas.
Yeah. Your best thought is usually your first thought. If you trust yourself enough, and you then your first thought is usually your best thought. But people second guess their first thought a lot, so they don't usually go with their gut. But it's usually your best
That's
thought.
true. So if it's coming from the heart or the gut, you usually can tell because that one, it jumps in and then you can easily wipe it out. And so we're used to wiping that thought out.
Yeah.
But those thoughts that go in your mind round and around and around and around, that's when the brain is being busy. Busy.
And some people that I know have a tendency to overthink things, so they get caught up in that.
Yes. Yes.
So the people that you know
person that has to go into the heart and say, "Wait a minute." It's the logic telling me.
So the people that you know, that sounds like people like me and people like you. That's what that sounds like. It sounds accusing.
That's exactly what I'm
I do
talking
too.
about, but mostly myself. But
If you give it longer than 17 seconds, they say, then it becomes an issue. So if you think on it longer than 17 seconds, then it becomes a pattern.
But
gotta let
then,
it go.
How long do you have before you cancel, clear, and delete? That's about 56 seconds or something like that.
But yeah, that's just to get it out of your space, so that when you won't like be angry at it. Like if you're upset about something, you give it 17 seconds of time. After just 17 seconds, it'll become a problem if you start thinking about it, letting it dwell into your subconscious. So, and then you get to the control, alt, delete, and you're gonna have to literally exit it and remove it from your mind, or you're gonna be thinking about it all day. It's gonna be a hindrance, a manifestation. Because after a minute, it manifests into that. Because that's all you're putting your energy and your thought into, whatever that thought is.
I'm gonna get rid of this second part.
It's almost like a Woosah moment.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that on the screen to show, but just ignore anything you see about Oprah on here. If you see something about Oprah, let's just squash that. Anyway, let's just put it right here. Notice the thought, cancel the thought, clear the thought, replace the thought. New grooves for the brain. Once you got to make that a habit. And so as we're working into this, we're going to make this a habit. But Terry, you pulled some cards.
I pulled some cards, and it was really interesting because I haven't talked to you for a couple of days, so we didn't really get a chance. So if you want to put up the cards, and it was, I have to say, I pulled cards from the Energy and Spirit Oracle, and I had picked another deck, and it said, no, go over here and take this one. So I did, and they didn't jump out, but the 3 cards showed up very quickly. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting. So
I'm trying to find them.
Oh, okay.
Dang it. Okay, I think I found them, and now I have to pull them up.
I like this. The cancel, clear, replace technique. I like that. That's a really good technique.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard about that in a class I had once.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
talking about that, there's so much programming around us. Like
yes.
That's what the Matrix is programming us, programming the thoughts, and we're going to get into it. It's causing a lot of confusion for people. And so this is why it's like, okay, so, based on, let's just base on the energies of the last, like last week, but since, this last few months, right? We're climbing up from the depths. And we're releasing difficulty. Now, the stairway, in that picture, you can see it's a stairway. There's a light at the end, but we don't know how many steps we got to climb. we're moving upwards, and we're releasing the difficulty. So, we could take an elevator all the way up to the top, but you're not releasing anything. So with each step that we take, we are letting go and releasing thought forms and everything. And I think that that's really important to recognize, that we've all gone through difficulty, no matter what no matter whether we've led a charmed life or we have had a more difficult life, but we've all had difficulties. The people who have a charmed life have had difficulties in another way. So we all have to release things as we start to climb, as we're starting to climb into a new energy. So whether it's going to take 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years, we don't know. But we're just going to have to, keep on moving upwards. So we're moving up from the depths. And I don't know whether either one of you have anything you want to add to that.
I'd like to say this is an amazing card, because she's not looking up the steps into the darkness. She's looking on the bright side.
In the light.
Into the light.
She's looking at the light where the sun is. It looks like the sun's right there. And the sun's playing an integral part right now in the ascension process of cleansing the energies and what doesn't serve you, to let go. So if you're holding on to that dense energy, then you're gonna be stuck in the basement. So you gotta let go of that stuff so you can rise up and make room for these new energies, and where you're heading to is the sun, that light that's at the end of the tunnel for you.
Yeah, and you're walking into your own light. This is the other thing, is you're walking into your own light.
And I'm glad you said the basement, because you can't really see down at the bottom. It's real cloudy.
No,
it's real
dense. It's cloudy, dense, muggy.
Is erasing those things. Stop looking at that all the time. Stop looking at what happened last time. Don't go looking sideways and getting distracted out that window. She's not looking out the window.
Yeah.
See, that would be her contemplating and I wonder. Like, nope, I'm going up the steps. I'm going right into the light. I'm focused.
Straight direction. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Redirection.
Right.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, as she's climbing the steps, everything behind her is disappearing.
Right.
And
that's what we
how,
said.
And how often do we want to go to the back, to the past, releasing the past? We're releasing that. Like there's nothing in the past that we can dwell in, because it's gone. And that's just showing us it's gone. So you only have one direction you can go, and that's going up.
Right. I mean, that's what we said with the cloudiness. You can't see that anymore. You're going to erase that. We need to erase that.
Yeah. And so then we come to, and I thought this is a great one, the confusion card. Many choices of uncertainty. The past, there's the known, there's the unknown, there's the future, there's the perhaps, there's the maybe. But we're at this place of creating our future. There's many choices, but we don't want to go to the past. We don't want, we want a place of knowing that we are walking our correct path, but we don't necessarily have to know, we're just climbing those stairs. And there may be a sharp turn in the stairs, or it may be a spiral or whatever. But remember, if it's a spiral, we're still climbing up. It may seem that we've repeated something, but we're not. We're just seeing it from another perspective.
And what really stands out on this is the only thing that's not confusing is the present. It's not up here in confusion. The present is not confusing. So if you are present right now with your current emotions and current feelings and you will not be confused. So it's saying if you want to grapple with all the unknowns and the knowns and variations, they always used to say that study long, study wrong.
Okay.
Be in higher consciousness is to be in the now. So if you stay in the now, if you stay in the present, then the past or the future won't bother you, because you're living in the now.
And then there's it's the paralysis of analysis. Remember that, y'all?
Mm.
So when you sit there thinking, there's a lot of people who get busy thinking and a lot of people get busy doing. Even that, right? In Shawshank, he says, get busy dying. Get busy. He said either get busy living or get busy dying or something like that. You remember that? Shawshank? I don't know if Dab
I
got
remember
frozen.
the movie, but I don't remember the line. But yeah, okay.
Get busy living or get busy dying. So basically, yeah, because if you're not creating, you're dissipating.
Well, and I think if we keep holding on to the past, then we're just dying because we can't. That's not where we're going. We're not in the present. We're anchored to that past, and there's no movement there. So
that's kind of what bothered me in 2020 with all the get inside and stock up on food and be afraid and all the the stuff. Because I was like, wait, you can't stop living. At no point can you afford to stop living.
Yeah. No, I was when people were telling me when I was in that part of learning about myself and my reality, if I were to listen to people in their fear, like stop doing things and stop going this direction and just hold on and pause, then you stunt your own growth. So everybody's on their own cycles here, and so
I want to say, I want to make up a new saying: zigzag, get shot in the ass. You on the battlefield, you gotta zigzag, or you gonna get shot in your ass. You better keep moving. You better pivot. You better keep on
moving.
Going.
Right. Right. And there's a lot of people that are staying in one place. They don't want to make a move. They don't want to make a decision. They don't want to go forward, and they don't want to go backwards. They just want to sit there and wait it out. And sometimes when you do that,
yeah, well,
while they're doing all that, they're complaining. So
yeah,
the whole way,
right?
The whole way.
Did we all get disappeared? Did we all get?
No.
What happened? Where did we go?
No, I'm here. I'm here.
We're on. We're here.
Oh my God. I don't know what I'm looking at. I don't see us on the screen anymore. That is so crazy.
Oh, I'm right here.
Yeah, we see you.
Nick says, yeah, we see you. There you go.
Okay, well, we just keep going with it. Wow.
Okay. So the last card that I pulled was currents of emotion and uncontrolled feelings. I think this is really important and is very relevant to what's happening here. A lot of people have lost control of jumped off the deep end, and they're going into uncontrolled feelings, and they're becoming quite like they're losing it. And so I think it's important for us to recognize that we will have emotions, but we have to be aware that it is not necessarily us that has it. It's around us, and we are affected so much by what the mass consciousness is thinking. So you have to sort of stop and pull back and say, is this mine, or am I just tapping into what is going on here? And that goes back to the first card where we said, like we're climbing up, we're releasing those difficulties. Maybe we're going to come across these streams and these currents of emotions, but we're moving into our light. So we can't look at these currents of emotions and say this is where we're all going. Even if you're in a tumultuous river, once you pass those rapids, you're going to come to really soft, calm place. So, like we just have to recognize that as we are moving towards our light, we will pass through these kind of layers, but we don't have to stay there and make them our belief system. And I think that's where the confusion comes in with that too, is as we see these things, we may find that confusion, but if we stay to the path, releasing those difficulties, then it gives us our inner strength to see things for what they are.
Indeed.
I'm honestly thinking too that I saw someone else has a video talking about explaining certain things to people, and you know what? There's a time when you're not really here to fix everybody and change everybody, and you're not necessarily here to do surgery on everybody, especially people who aren't asking you for it. I mean,
Right.
there's a level of independence as well when some people are asking you for help, trying to sort their feelings out, where you might be able to ask them questions, but definitely you don't necessarily have to give them a solution. Sometimes just talking to people and helping them sort things out and to put them into different boxes for themselves. A million times I talk to my sister and I say everything I have to say, and I'm like, thanks. Did she really tell me anything? No, I just sometimes just need something to say it out loud and then figure it out.
He's like that emotional, I wouldn't say a punching bag, but they're like this person that will listen to you. That way you can speak it to existence. And they might not even have the answers yourself for you. You know,
Yeah,
but
That's what
they're
being able
here.
to hold space.
Yeah, they're
That's what
your
you call
sounding
holding
board. Your
That's
sounding
what you
board.
call holding space, right? But
Yeah.
are you
Yeah.
able to hold space without inserting your personal opinions into what people are necessarily going through or how they're feeling? Because that means I can allow you to have your feelings and I can allow you to speak your truth without necessarily trying to put my spin on it and necessarily. And
Yeah,
so,
it will impact you. Yeah.
yeah, but with this new election thing, because this is what I'd love to say, because you're here now, you hang out with Sarge. It's a lot of screaming and yelling and tumultuous emotional things going on. And I deleted some people, but it wasn't because I dislike them or I hate them. I hate to see the immature behavior, and I'm just not going to watch a
lot of
child.
growth.
I'm not going to watch anybody have a temper tantrum, especially when they're throwing around a lot of misinformation as well. You know, one lady was throwing around,
yeah,
you're going to go to jail for miscarriages, and a lot of really bad things being said. And it's like, come on, guys. I can't
a
listen
lot
to
of
nonsense.
fear and there's a lot of people who. So I know that there's one political. So there's one side of this whole thing where people are really informed and they're really awake and they know what's going on, and the other side, which is ill-informed, and there a lot of people like to be spoon-fed with information instead of doing the research yourself. And what happens is when you don't believe in something, then you'll fall for anything. So when you know what I mean? So they're preying on those people, and then they're preying on the people that don't necessarily do any of the research. They take what people tell them and they run with it. And because of that, you know, you're going to have disinformation happening all the time. You're going to have people angry and this 4B movement, where literally women are literally
Not
having
having sex anymore.
hysterectomies. Yeah, yeah, that's stuff. You know,
I see
like that's a
these
whole.
people.
That's
Yeah.
I almost want to say it's like Darwin. It's like Darwin. Yeah, it's like Darwinism in reverse, because you're removing all the people who are of lower consciousness out of the cycle already. They're removing themselves by doing that.
I was thinking to myself, who was checking for Kathy Griffin? Honey, nobody is checking for that junk that you got. Okay, that junk that she got, she can keep it. Okay, no one's checking for you.
Looking like her brother.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
exactly.
She looked like her brother.
like her own manly self. But anyway, I just remember when she went after Sarah Palin's daughter's boyfriend.
Yeah.
That was so gross.
Oh
She's
yeah.
a strange, gross individual.
There's a lot of strange growth.
And I didn't really like
man.
that bloody mask
We're
thing.
gonna
That
find
bloody
out.
mask thing was terrible. I did not like that bloody mask thing. That was really gross as well.
The bloody mask. Oh, what are you talking about? I'm like, bloody mask.
Yeah, when she lifted up that mask,
Oh, yeah.
really gross. I'd love to see that thing.
Yeah,
This one lady.
it's funny. I'm here. So I'm observing all of this, and I'm saying it's funny how one group can say and do things, and then when another group says, something more solid, then all of a sudden they go crazy. They're like, oh my God, they're
Like
going
that.
to do this to us and do that to that. But meanwhile, they're shooting their mouths off. They're saying horrible things about other people. They're doing horrible things. And when somebody was going to call them on what they've said and done, then oh my God, they're going crazy. Like,
Yeah.
When you observe it from a standpoint of like what's going on down there, is like,
Yes.
They said people from Canada must feel like they're living above a meth lab.
Ah, yeah, like we're like, yeah.
It's like that here too. I can tell you, people that I know that are very close, they've lost their shit over this whole thing, and it's not even, like, I was in my meditation class last night, and people were talking about it. And it's like, I was sitting with my friend, and we're just like, oh my gosh, like, how are they, and they are so, they know so much, and it's like, you guys don't know anything. I shouldn't say they don't know anything. They only know one aspect, right? And it's like, how can you
y'all better stop listening to Rachel Maddow for she get y'all messed up.
Looking like Mark Cuban.
So our news is no longer a reporting. Our news is strictly opinions and conjecture. It's not.
Yeah. The real news comes from us. We are the news now. We are the news. So, it's the people on the ground making the reporting that's actually filming it, the people in the area, the people that have knowledge of the subject. We are the news now. So,
extension of Saturday Night Live, all day, all night.
If you take a look what's happened over the few years, and I know some people who used to work in the news industry, they lost their jobs. There was people who were cameramen, there were people who were directors or whatever, because they said, oh, we don't need all this. A person can do their own recording and that sort of thing. And so a lot of the reporters that I knew, a lot of the people who were behind the scenes, they all lost their positions. And some of them were, had special needs or whatever, but so they all lost those positions. And then you look and you say, well, I don't have TV, but occasionally you catch a newscast, and it's like, what are they talking about? It's the same thing. If I turn on one channel in Canada or I turn on a channel from the States, it's the same reporting. So no, they don't need people with any opinions or any abilities. They're feeding what has to be said, and they're all saying the same thing. So, like, where
they have the same voice inflection, same tone. They say things exactly the same. The way they talk. Like so
and they don't need a cameraman, because they'll put in any kind of film that they want. They'll splice in whatever they want.
Right.
So that,
I was gonna say, and they got AI now.
Well, now they can green screen and AI and
clone. They can clone you now, or they can have an AI clone, and literally all they need is 5 minutes of you talking, and they don't even need you no more. Now they can AI clone you.
Yeah.
I think they have that already.
Yeah, and people aren't seeing it, and that's the disturbing part that I find is, people that I know who should be beyond this. These are intellectual people. These are professionals, and they're listening and they're believing that, and it's like, can't you see what happened to your ability to discern? I don't know.
To determine when somebody is using hyperbolic language, when they're exaggerating, like, we need to go back to the parts of language, to understand, like, when something is being exaggerated. This is a tremendous fail. But like we're saying, first thought, best thought, get your thoughts from a higher source, because something has to tell you,
Mhm.
no, that's not what's happening. We really think this is what's happening? Like, no. So anyway, I just don't think this is something where you want to go digging into people's emotions and trying to help them, because one lady, her response was, I hope your daughters bleed out into the streets. I hope, it's just like the COVID thing. It was like, I hope your family member gets COVID and dies. Like, to be able to be like, oh, you love people so much and you want to save the world so much, but you actually think it's okay as a Christian, as a witch, as a healer, as a teacher, as any type of humanitarian. So you think that that's the thing that you should be able to say to someone? So be it.
Yeah, people are losing it.
I
They're
can't
losing it right now.
reason with anyone like that.
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing the people where people are at right now on their spiritual journey from these interactions right at this moment. So like people who haven't healed their traumas and are holding things in and are not doing any of the work, they're going to react to these situations, and they're going to react in ways where you're going to be like, who is this person? Who are you? I've never seen you act like this before. Because it's something lashing out that needs to be released. And then you have
I'm sorry to say that in front of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't care. It's the entity inside of them that doesn't care,
Yeah. And so there you go. This is that whole idea of releasing the difficulty, right? And up from the depths. What's yours and what's part of that belief mass consciousness, right? Because we're in that's part of that matrix.
Man, it's crazy right now. It's a lot of different people are coming online. A lot of people in fear, surprisingly. Not as much as it used to be, but the people that generally, when they come into this, they automatically think something negative or fear, and maybe because they're projecting it on their own. But like for example, my pictures that I post on Facebook, okay, I just started posting them on all these different groups on Facebook for the first time in like 4 years, and I'm getting mixed reviews, which is great because my whole intent is to get it out there so people have their own experience. People see it, and if they have similar experiences, they're not feeling alone. They're like, oh, somebody else is seeing them just like I'm seeing them, and that empowers you to go and research and go and look into it and see what else is going on out there. But you got people like in fear, man, who just like, oh, it's AI, this is the devil, it's fake, and and I'm like, well, who made you the fact checker for a reality? Like, you know what I mean? Like, who made you the end all be all? And that's what your belief is. That's what your belief is. But why don't you ask questions? Like, ask questions, figure out what makes this fake. Why are you so afraid of this? And then most people try to put something in front of their own connections with things. So we have to have an enemy face. And instead of just looking at it from one perspective, it's always a negative. It's always coming from a place of fear for some reason. I'm like, man, like you can't expect to have happiness when you're constantly projecting fear. So you got to take in the good and let go of the bad. It's the best thing I can think about.
Or how do you want tolerance when you promote intolerance?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes.
So the tolerant will be destroyed. They were trying to be tolerant and will get destroyed by what you tolerated.
Right. You mentioned something about happiness, Brad. The only person that can make us happy is ourselves, right? Nobody can make us happy. We can't project on, you're going to make me happy, Brad. You're going to make me really happy. I'm the only one who's going to make me happy. I'm the only one who's going to feel joy the way that I feel it. And, seeing your face and being in your presence makes me feel joyful, makes me feel happy. But you didn't do it. It's because I'm opening myself up to that ability to do that. So, people have to stop putting it onto someone else. It's how they see and what's their perspective on things. And this is where our healing comes in. This is where we start letting go of the difficulty. Is like, well, wait a minute, I can see things as difficult or challenging, right? There's a difference between difficult and challenging. Challenging is something for me to get through, and it's going to build me up and give me power. Difficulty is like, I'm a victim. What are we? Are we being difficult? Are we in difficulty? Or are we being challenged? So the challenging part, and it goes to the whole thing of power versus force. How are we going to see things? What perspective do we take? And that whole thing is, people say, you made me feel this way. No, I didn't make you feel anyway. You chose to feel that way. So how are you choosing? We choose every moment. We choose from our present moment. But if we have, and it goes back to those creating what you put down had earlier is cancel, clear, delete. What are we creating in our thought forms? How do we create new neural pathways? So we have to look at each moment, and that's why we can't project to the future or from the past. Each moment we make decisions, and we want to be on a higher.
Makes a lot of sense, because each moment you're dictating everything, and then from those moments you can manifest what you want in your life. So if you're projecting positive things, you're going to attract positive things, and you got to make room for more positive things. You got to release anything that don't serve you right now, and especially now, because Pluto is now coming out of retrograde. It was in Capricorn in retrograde right now. It's going to be coming out of retrograde on the 19th. And that, since Pluto's in retrograde, it means that all the old systems, all the old things that we were doing are being torn down. Since it's in retrograde, it's being thoroughly examined and torn down. So because it's in Capricorn, but then when it enters into Aquarius, when it goes direct in the 19th, that's going to usher in all this new energy of just feeling empowered, being of service to others, information going forward. How can we help people? Being the humanitarian, the philanthropist that we are, being of service to others and information. It's going to usher in all these things socially for us that we're going to be thinking about. Okay, how can we better this life? How can we move forward? And I think people will finally let go of these old belief systems energetically coming up. So it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah. And I think, like when we have our personal mantra, for me, my personal mantra in the morning is, I'm on my highest timeline. And just a simple mantra like that is like an affirmation or whatever, is that, so what I do today is for my highest timeline. It's for my highest good. So, and I can forgive myself if I make that wrong turn and do something this or that. But I go back onto that highest timeline. And I think we've seen that, with the last while, there's a lot of stuff that's, like we're on a higher timeline than we were a year ago. We've evolved in that.
Absolutely. I think we shifted several higher timelines in this. Every so often we've been having these timeline jumps, and you start seeing things clearer, and start feeling better. You start forgetting stuff in the past that's irrelevant, and or not, like the past. Like I feel like every time these timeline jumps events happen for us, it's like a Mandela effect. It's like stuff that we thought in the past kind of fades away or fades out, and now we're creating this new pathway of walking, and we don't really know where we're heading, but we know where we're heading right now. Kind of like that feeling.
We're climbing those stairs. We don't know what's up. Like we'll take those few steps ahead. We don't, we can see a little bit ahead, but we don't know what's there. But we're just climbing to the light. Right.
Yeah. 100% agree with that card. That card is definitely with the collective.
It is such a powerful card.
Yeah.
Releasing the difficulty, letting go of the old systems.
Man. People aren't going to be ready for this new world. Y'all do. Okay, the new world is like people are thinking that we're going to have all these old 3D structures and systems. It's going to be more of a spiritual world and this new world. This new world. It's going to be more in tune to consciousness and yourself and reality and others, and you're going to be able to feel things and see things more and see instant responses to how things were. So everybody that's living in this old 3D matrix now are going to have a huge wake up call once they find out what's going on and they come in tune, and the things that we were doing before a couple years ago, we're not going to be doing anymore in this new world.
Okay, so I know this is probably not the place to do, but I'm going to bring it up anyway. This whole thing of the flat Earth and the firmament and all that.
Yeah, the dome.
Okay, I'm just going to give you my perspective that perhaps what people are seeing, what people are experiencing, is a shift in the dimension, because the dimensions are all around us, right? So people are perhaps seeing things from another dimension where they're saying, oh, there's something on the other side of us. Yes, we're in a bubble of 3D. And as we get out of that bubble of 3D, it's expanded. So perhaps what people are seeing or talking about is not being able to perceive the fact that that's in a higher dimensional frequency. And that's what, and because it's in a higher dimensional frequency, it doesn't mean that it's all, roses. There's other things in the next dimension that still have what we might say negative ideas, but it's from a higher frequency. And I think, my opinion was, I think people are seeing aspects of those other dimensions, and they're seeing it as a flat Earth. But I think it's more than that. It's the moving into a higher dimensional frequency.
Yes, 100%. 100%. I totally agree. I think a lot of us are already there now. We're starting to see the veil getting thinner and more light on the planet, and you're feeling more things, and your discernment's getting spot on, and the synchronicities are happening. But people are getting signs and flashes of going into this new higher plane of existence. Sorry, I couldn't get that word out. But
and there are some people who are trying to hold on to say, no, we're in here. But it is
a lot of holding on. And they want to grab you down with you.
Yeah.
Like, if I can't go nowhere, you going right with me. Like, nope.
That's right.
Let it go.
I got you by the leg. You're not going nowhere.
Right. And I have friends like that to this day that are still like, even though they might think they're in a higher state of consciousness, they do not want to let go of old things. And every time we communicate or talk or whatever, it's like they want to pull you back down to the basement with them. Like, yep, you come back down here, man. It's like, nope. And like just to a point now where I can only give them certain time and energy of my time and energy, because frequency wise, talking to them for a long time lowers your vibration if they're in that state of mind.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of the times they don't know that they're in that state of mind. They're just living the 3D life. But that's the problem, is you're still doing the same things, expecting a different result in this old reality instead of letting go of these things and ascending, so to speak. The Godfather 3.
You're trying to convert and become legitimate, move out of these dangerous circumstances, but they making it impossible. He says, just when I quit, they keep pulling me back.
Yeah. Right.
We're not letting them pulling me. We're not going to let them pull me back. I like that.
They try to grab you up. They don't want you to. It's almost like the entity attachments in people. Because I'm really onto this. Like my friend, she does. She put me on to the fact that a lot of people were in a different state of being, frequency, and there are souls that are here that want to attach themselves to anything that's dense in 3D that can get them, that they think can get them back to source. So people who aren't doing the healing, that aren't protecting themselves, are getting these attachments of these earthbound souls, and it's lowering their frequency and also creating these moments. It's like not allowing them to ascend to the light. And like, get your ass back down here. You know, they're pulling you back down. And,
Exactly. That's
and,
so true.
and that's exactly, and you have some people walking around with like hundreds, I wouldn't say hundreds, but let's just say a lot of attachments, different things. It's holding them like spiritually, like a web. And they don't know it. Maybe it's tense for them and maybe they're having these experiences, but they're just chalking it up to their life is miserable or whatever. But they are literally collecting all these entities because the frequency of the planet is raising so high right now. These entities have nowhere else to go. They need to attach to something. And and if you're not doing the work,
spiritual parasites.
And it doesn't have to be anybody else, because your old paranoia, your old insecurities, your old feelings of deficiency are trying to cling to you as well. Some of these are your old patterns that are wanting. I feel it though. Oh, you're so stupid, you're so ugly, you're so fat, why did you do that, why did you say that? Like these things that it's like someone wants to shame you. Like these old spirits want you to condemn yourself. They want to imprison you. And here we are. We have to get away from it. It's really sticky. And I feel like that's why people are saying it feels so heavy. It feels so thick. Because these things are trying to penetrate around us. And some of it is our old friends that want to hang around, and not people, but this is what we go to. These are our go-to self-loathing.
I had to give you that look, like
I was in your closet watching.
No. I know exactly what you mean. No, I have it's like this. It's like we have the go-to friends, and like so a lot of times we give them passes to like because we know them, but like we don't know that sometimes they're getting in their own way, and by them doing that, they're impeding you sometimes. So you gotta sometimes allow them to discover their self, and you help them. You can only lead them to the water, but you can't make them drink the water. They got to drink it themselves. Figure that out. But once they do, then it's like a remembrance. Okay, now we can. Now you're at my level. Now you're understanding. Now you're having these same experiences. Now we can have this conversation. But till then, it's like they want you to. They in the basement. And they want you to come down in the basement with them, and they don't. And they don't know that they call you in the basement. They don't know they're in the basement. They think they're somewhere, but they're literally hanging in the basement because they're too scared to move forward.
Oh, I was having a flashback. Oh, the basement. I was like, wait a minute, the basement?
Yeah.
The
basement. I am the basement. Yeah, I mean the basement.
We don't want to go back in there.
Yeah. They want you to stay in that basement with them, and like, no, I'm heading to the light now. That's the best analogy I could think of, because we're all ascending. We're all climbing those stairs right now, seeing our own light.
They're grasping onto our energy, but as we keep moving up, then they can't hold on to us anymore.
Yes,
the only way is for them to start to move up themselves. Yes.
Or if you allow them to grab you or bring you down, that's the only other way too. If you allow them to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a hard part. That's the hardest part for a lot of us, is like we're ascending, and the people that are holding us back are not somebody that we met yesterday. It's our friends and family that have been with us, and so we feel like perhaps we're not supporting them if we keep moving forward. But it's their decision. It's their soul's decision. You know what? I'm following the light. I'm giving you an example of what you can do too. So don't try and hold me back to your systems and your beliefs.
Right. Nicholas said, you don't want to come down to the dungeon?
No. Comments on Facebook, and I wanted to share that. We're gonna wrap up.
I shared the Facebook too. So
yeah. Busted right in. Hey y'all. Okay, Susan was out there. Leslie, Lisa, Nicole. We got your comments and compliments. Happiness is personal
Oh, it's
responsibility.
awesome.
Sure is. Oh my God, look what happened to the screen. Aren't they silly? I don't even know how to stop it.
They're
Let me
moving
see.
up into infinity.
Yeah, infinity and beyond.
Yes.
Gosh, I don't even know what just happened. I don't know. I don't know what just happened. But anyway,
Because it's in Capricorn. But then when it enters into Aquarius, when it goes,
I don't know what just happened. But anyway,
like the guy, what's his name? I like that guy on Ancient Aliens. It's like, I don't know, moves through Capricorn and everything. That's awesome. When you hear yourself sometimes, it makes you like, it just sounds weird, you know? But it's cool. It's cool.
So 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Any galactic astrology you want to share in 2 minutes and 30 seconds?
Well, I talked about what Pluto entering, it's going out of retrograde. Then you got 1111 portal yesterday. We're still feeling that energy today, but it's a really powerful manifestation energy right now. So that's interesting. All yesterday has been very, very intense for me, at least, because I was feeling everything. But yeah, powerful manifestation energy right now, and your desires, your wants, your dreams can become a reality faster now. I mean, even though the portal ended yesterday, you're still feeling that energy today. So that's happening, and there is another galactic alignment, but I think it's a couple retrogrades coming out of retrograde. It's going to be going direct soon. I think Mercury just happened not too long ago, but
No, we're going into Mercury.
Oh no,
right?
Mercury's at the end of the month. Maybe it was something with Pluto or something like
Pluto's
that.
the big one. Yeah, Pluto's the plan of social reform and what your society and how we're supposed to implement. That's a huge one because it's been in Capricorn retrograding for a long time now, and since that energy's like it's like the closing of the door to the old reality, closing down those systems, and going into Aquarius, man, the golden age of information, age of help, age of service, and being of sharing information to help the collective consciousness and inventing these new systems. So pay attention to like all the stuff that's going to be coming out within the next month to 2 months, right after this, when he goes direct, like all this information, all these devices and stuff to help humanity, these technologies are going to just drop out of nowhere. People are going to be inventing them out of nowhere. So like a lot of this creative energy coming in.
You know, I know we got, but the one thing that I liked what Trump said is that he's bringing back the world's fairs. That's where the new inventions. That's where everything came from. All of that technology that's been repressed is going to be brought forward in one full swoop. What did he say? Within 3 years, he wanted to see the world's fairs return.
Yeah,
that's a way of bringing out the new technologies that are going to be, that have.
That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. And he's talking about flying cars. He's been talking about these flying cars. Like I heard him say all 3 times this week about flying cars. So expect to see that coming out. All the new frequency med beds and plasma beds and all types of different things are going to come out. And I think that's how they're going to usher it out. Just like you said, through the World Fair, they're going to have it's going to be called the Great American Fair is what they're calling it. But it's basically the World Fair like it was in Chicago and Texas, where, all the inventions come out and they debut free energy devices and all types of stuff. So that's how they're going to do this, I think. Sure.
Sounds like something from a Marvel movie.
It does. It does. And Elon looks like he's Tony Stark right now.
Like Tony Stark's father, right?
Yeah, like he's literally coming out with all these inventions. He's the Bachelor of the Year right now, and he's the billionaire playboy.
Again,
and he's the billionaire playboy and the dad.
which Elon is it? Is that 7.0 now that we're looking at?
Yeah, Elon 7.0. Mm-hmm. Because the old Elon didn't have he had a weird hairline. He was going bald. This Elon hair. He has a nice gut. He's eating well. Kind of walks like a robot a little bit, but Doesn't look anywhere near the old
It's
Elon.
doing well.
Yeah.
I'm getting
So,
out of here, y'all, because these peacocks they want their food.
all right.
Yeah.
Blessings to you guys.
Yeah, we'll go on Telegram and do some readings for a bit, and we will see you all next week.
Peace and
Wow.
love, guys.
All right, let's do it.